I recently spent a long weekend in Dublin, Ireland. I am not Irish, but I've heard many great things about visiting Dublin. When a friend asked if I wanted to go on a trip, I figured, why not? We started our trip with the Irish Food Trail Tour, linked in the description. I've learned that food tours are a great first activity in a place you're visiting for the first time. These type of tours help you get to see some sights, learn about the foods a place is known for, and you get to fill your stomach. We ate at Gallagher's Boxty House, Mulligan and Haynes, and the Rag Trader. The Irish staple foods we ate on the tour were a potato-based appetizer, Guinness stew, and fish and chips. We also learned the proper way to make an Irish coffee using Powers Irish whiskey, hot coffee, sugar, and cream. I enjoyed this tour a lot, but I wish I could have gotten to try more than a couple of dishes. It was almost just like a long lunch with walking. I did learn the Irish are very proud of the quality of meat and dairy from their farms. I also liked that on restaurant menus they were required to say what each dish may contain as allergy warnings. I realized quickly on this tour I should have learned how to use my GoPro before my trip. My videos from the food tour were a mess. I have photos for my fancier meals over on the Alex Eats Too Much Instagram page. As with a lot of Europe, we saw a lot of large older stone buildings. We booked recommended tours to see two of these buildings. The first was the Trinity College Library and the Book of Kells viewing. I knew nothing of the Book of Kells, which is a special version of 4 Gospels of the New Testament. I only took a quick look at the exhibit of this old book. The main feature of the library is the long room, which was under restoration at the time of our visit. The long room contains the library's oldest books and busts of authors who supported the library. I am sure it is much more striking to visit when it is not under construction. The library also serves as a copyright repository of Ireland. All publishers in Ireland must submit items published free of charge. The second old building we toured was Dublin Castle. It served as the seat of the British government's administration in the past until the Republic of Ireland gained independence. Now it is a major government complex for the government of the Republic of Ireland. The castle is regularly used for the government ceremonies and the inauguration of the Republic of Ireland's president. The castle is home to incredible paintings and furniture. Many of the rooms feature gold detail, stained glass windows, and classic crystal chandeliers. I have not seen many castles, so I find this all very fancy and extravagant. I had seen enough old buildings at this point. The trip also included time in the Temple Bar neighborhood. We visited the notorious The Temple Bar pub. Even though it is very touristy, I felt like it was worth a visit just to say I've been there. I got an overpriced Guinness, my first of many on the trip, and listened to a little live music. The one regret I have of the trip is I wish I had gotten to visit more bars with live music. The Temple Bar neighborhood also has a lot of great street art and murals. It has become a hub for a number of cultural institutions in Ireland. I was taken in by the touristy Irish Rock and Roll Museum in Temple Bar area. They feature a lot of memorabilia from Irish musicians and artists that have recorded at the studio located there. There was an entire room dedicated to tons of memorabilia for U2, Ireland's most famous rock band. They are definitely credited with bringing attention to Irish rock and roll. The tour guide shared plenty of facts about the band and his experiences meeting them. There was also an entire room dedicated to Irish band Thin Lizzy. I thought the coolest part was at the end seeing the iconic Nev 8078 analog mixing console. Only a few of these special hand-wired multi-channel mixing consoles are still in use around the world. I also felt like I couldn't leave Dublin without visiting the Guinness brewery and some whiskey distilleries like Jameson and Teeling. Since I was in Dublin for such a short trip, I decided to visit all 3 in one day. I have a separate video about the experience touring and tasting a lot of beer and whiskey on my channel and linked in the description. The last day in Ireland, we did a day trip to the Cliffs of Moher in Galway. The Cliffs of Moher are vertical sea cliffs that run 18 kilometers on Ireland's west coast. On arrival at the cliffs, our tour guide told us it was going to rain the whole time we were there, so we should go view them while the rain was light. She was wrong. We got pelted with rain and couldn't see anything. Luckily, the weather cleared up a lot about 30 minutes later and the view got much better. The cliffs are very tall, especially where we were at the visitor center. I probably only explored a little over a kilometer of the cliffs, but you can really get a good view from this point. This is also where O'Brien's Tower sits at the Cliffs of Moher. The tower was really just built as an observation point. One rumor is the builder erected it so he could bring women there to impress them. I'm glad I went to see the cliffs, but I felt a little underwhelmed, or maybe I was just wet from the rain. After the cliffs, we needed to drive through the rural countryside and farmland along the coast to Galway. There were points that it was scary being in a giant tour bus on these narrow roads. However, it was beautiful, so I could see why so many movies pick places like this for people to get away from it all. I guess my second regret of the trip is not spending more time in the Irish countryside. We only got a quick taste of Galway. It's one of Ireland's largest cities, but it felt very touristy. I suspect if we were there longer, we would have gotten a better experience. Overall, I enjoyed my trip to Ireland. There is still a lot more I wish I got to do, like experience more live music and explore the countryside, so I might have to eventually visit Ireland again.